Hello, welcome to week 1 where we are going to be talking about mathematical operations. So this video is going to go over everything you need to do for this week, what your assignments are, what you have to read, everything you need to know for this week. I recommend before watching this video that you watch the course introduction so you understand how to navigate the class and where to find all of your resources. So I'm going to start with this week's material and your tasks, and then go into the discussion, the assignment, the quiz, and then put it all together into a suggested schedule for you. So this week you're reading several sections. You have 8.1, which is decimals and percents. That is in the appendix. In my course introduction, I demonstrated how to find that. And then you're reading chapter 1, sections 1 through 6. You're not reading section 1.7. So you're doing fractions and introduction to sets of numbers and algebra, exponents, square roots, order of operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of real numbers. So you've got a lot to cover. A lot of this is just basic arithmetic, so you should have some experience with it already. So the big ideas out of everything that you're reading this week is the ability to understand mathematical notation, what all the symbols mean, to be able to do arithmetic with real numbers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and that when we say real numbers, we mean whole numbers and negatives. So you need to be able to work with negatives. And then the order of operations. The order of operations is really important. That's something that we follow throughout all of algebra and all math going forward. So you want to make sure that you spend some time understanding the order of operations. So this is basically your standard task list for each week. So you have a discussion, an ungraded practice assignment, a graded assignment, and then a quiz. So each week you're essentially going to have 4 things, 3 of which are graded. So let's start by talking about your discussion. So this discussion has 2 parts. Part 1 is an introduction of yourself to the class so that everyone can get to know you and you get to know your classmates. And then to talk about how you're currently using math in your life. And it could be just addition or subtraction. It doesn't have to be algebra, but just where is math in your life right now? And then part 2 of the discussion is to share your thoughts on mental math and the use of calculators and technology. So mental math is the ability to do certain things in your head, like maybe your multiplication tables or some addition to do that kind of stuff in your head. Do you think it's good for people to memorize the multiplication tables? And then the use of calculators and technology. At what point are you using technology too much and maybe you haven't actually learned anything or you don't understand anything, you're just relying on a calculator? Or do you think that, calculators have a place and they should be used? Just share your thoughts. I have in the discussion forum a link to a website talking about mental math and the kind of tricks you can do to make mental math faster. So reading through that might give you a different perspective or at least give you some ideas of what is considered mental math. So that's your discussion prompt. When you are doing a discussion, you want to make sure that you have 75 words minimum. Your discussion posts are due Sunday night, the main post. Your response to the discussion prompt is always due Sunday night. And then you have a minimum of 2 replies to make to classmates by Tuesday. So you're welcome to make your main post earlier. You can do your reply post earlier, but you want to make sure by Tuesday night you have your response to the prompt and then 2 replies to others. And these replies need to be substantive, which means that they actually add to the discussion, continue the discussion. They're several sentences long. They advance the discussion in a meaningful way, so it actually allows for more discussion, more back and forth. You could be asking for questions or even have questions for others. If you can challenge others, maybe you disagree with their thoughts on mental math, but be professional and, respectful about it. And you need to address any questions that people ask of you, because if people ask you questions and you don't respond, well, that kind of kills the discussion. So just keep that in mind. The forums do tell you if somebody's replied to you. There's a thing that says how many unread posts, and then to the right is how many replies to you. So if you pay attention to those numbers, you can see if someone's replied, and you can kind of jump to those posts. So the discussion rubric, I'm going to zoom in here. Every discussion is going to be graded on this rubric. So for your initial post, 15 points are awarded for the fact that you are responding thoroughly and appropriately to the weekly content or weekly topic. So if you're not responding to the topic or you're off topic, you're going to lose points there. And then that you're adhering to the rules of discussion, which means that you have the fact that it's, 75 words or more, you posted everything on time, you have your citations and your references are correct. So that adds up to 25 points for your main post. Then your 2 follow-up posts are 10 points each. And so those, for a perfect score, student responds to one peer's post with insights and thoughtful questions that broaden the discussion of the weekly topic in new and appropriate directions. So that's your goal. You have 10 points for each of those. And then we do want to have proper grammar and etiquette because you do have the time to edit your posts. And, you have the time to take that to make sure that it makes sense. And so 5 points are for grammar, etiquette, everything's appropriate. So student clearly communicates in an appropriate, polite, and engaging manner. Grammar, spelling is accurate enough for posts to be easily read and understood. So those are the things that you're looking at, or that I'm looking at while you're grading your discussion. So now let's take a look at the assignments. So your ungraded practice assignment, this is ungraded, so you don't have to turn it in. This is just for your benefit. And all the answers to these are in the back of the book. If you watch the course introduction, I show you where to find those answers. So you do the problem recognition exercises on page 74, and I also show in the book how to go to page numbers. And then the chapter 1 test, which is on page 96, but not all the problems, just, I think that's supposed to say 1 to 4, not 104. That's supposed to be, oops, let me get my stylus working. That's supposed to say 1 through 4. And so all the answers to those should be in the back of the book. And if you need help, I do have live sessions coming up on certain topics. You can email, you can call, you can chat me, you can use tutor.com. The best way to learn math is to practice. You can't learn math by watching, so I strongly recommend you do these practice problems. There's not a lot of them, so you can do a little bit each day. Now your week 1 assignment, this is one that is graded. So you have 2 graded problems from the reading. So this particular week, your assignment is on the order of operations. So you're going to be completing 2 order of operation problems. In order to get full points and to receive feedback, you need to show all of your work. So it's really important you show step by step by step, and I model the process in my order of operation video. So you want to watch the order of operation video so you can see the process. There is a rubric, and it's graded holistically, which means we look at the assignment as a whole and the two problems as a whole, and then we look at those together. And I do allow resubmissions. There is a 5% penalty for resubmission, but that will allow you to improve your grade and to learn from your mistakes. So here's what the assignment rubric looks like. And so this is considering both problems at the same time. So your student produces a correct solution. So this is going to be holistically, like overall, out of both your problems, were both correct. Or if one of the problems had, an error, maybe it's proficient. But we're basically looking, is your stuff correct? Then we have student demonstrates understanding and problem solving skills. Basically, did you understand what steps you need to take? So it's possible to get full credit here, even if your answer is wrong, because it's possible that you made a small error, but you understood what you needed to do. You knew the right steps, you did them in the right order, you had that understanding, maybe you just made a sign error or something. Student solution is organized and formatted correctly. So this is about learning how to communicate math correctly, write in a way that people can follow. So basically, is your work organized? Is it easy to follow? Are you following the guidelines, emulating how we write mathematical work? It does mention the equation editor. You can also do things by paper, so you don't have to have the equation editor. So let me just, whoops. it doesn't let me kind of cross that out. So that's part of the rubric, but we don't have to use the equation editor. You can do things as long as it's neat, but you want to make sure you're showing all steps. So that's part of the organization. Because if you're showing all of your steps, then it's clear that we know what you did. If you're missing steps, then you may be missing concepts. So that is key about showing all of your steps. And then the last one is student correctly uses mathematical symbols and notation. So you need to be able to use the symbols correctly, because if you use the wrong symbols, then you are communicating to someone something different than what you mean. And then that can also cause problems if you're getting tutoring and then you're not using the right symbols. So if you have notation errors, if you're using the wrong symbol, that's where you could lose points there. So for the assignments, you want to make sure that you do them in order, and make sure you label your problems, problem 1, problem 2, so that it's very clear where one starts, the other one ends. Box or highlight your final answer so we know what your answer is. You can submit Word documents, which there are tutorials in the classroom on how to do that. You can also submit photos and scans if you don't want to spend the time to type up your math. So if you do photos or scans, you want to make sure that they're legible. So no blurriness, no smears. They need to be dark enough that we can read them. Please have everything in order. If it's not in order, you may have your work returned to you and may have to resubmit. We prefer a single file, not like 5 photos of work. Try to put it in one file. So you can do that by putting your pictures in a Word document. You can use a website called jpeg2pdf.com where you upload your photos and then it creates a PDF. Or you can use, there are applications on your phone like Genius Scan where you take photos and it creates a file for you. And then you can either email these to yourself or upload them directly using the Blackboard app. And now to finish things up, your quiz. So your quiz is untimed. I don't remember having any questions, but it's untimed. So you can take your time. You do have some multiple choice, some short answer. Let me actually write this on here, untimed. And then these are the topics covered. So these are the topics that you've looked at this week. So basically each quiz is going to follow topics of the week, so I recommend that the quiz is the last thing you do for the week. And so how do we put these together? What's the best way to go through the textbook, do the practice problems? Well, that's what my suggested schedule is for. So I have broken these up by day, but you can modify it yourself. But to do a section at a time, and then I've marked the additional reading that goes with that section, the videos to watch with that section, and then practice problems to do to help you practice. So go in this order, then move on to the next section. Practice problems, next section. So kind of work your way down and go through all of these, and then when you've finished and you've gone through all the material, then you are ready to do the week 1 assignment and week 1 quiz. So that's basically the order, the structure. That is the best way to be successful. You can modify it as is. This is also linked in the classroom. So if you have any questions on what you need to do this week, feel free to email me, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I know with week 1, you're getting used to what you need to do. There's a lot going on. You just start in the class, you're like, oh my goodness, what do I have to do? So hopefully this video gives you at least a starting point. And don't forget, watch the course introduction video, the navigation, showing you around the course and where everything is, and that will help you out as well. So I look forward to having a great class with you guys, and good luck this week.